believe these two will be foes when the Battle of Sylvania hits the gridiron, but today we're here to preview that matchup for our NLL Spotlight. We've got head coach for Southview, Steve Hardy, and Northview's head coach as well, Greg Silm. Guys, thanks so much for being with me today.
Thanks for having us.
How are you both feeling right now about your team's readiness ahead of week one?
Well, we got kind of an extra week this year. Last year we started 2-a-days and we went right into our first scrimmage that week. So we had a couple extra days to prepare. We've had 2 scrimmages under our belt, learned some things about our kids and our coaches and how we're going to kind of maneuver through the season, and I think we're ready for week one.
Last year, like Coach said, it kind of seemed like everything just hits you right at once, especially with such a big game, week one. That extra week to kind of get your team ready, especially when, you have 2 teams like us graduated 28 and 23 seniors, I think. It's nice to get some of those younger guys a little extra week where, they're going to be in school, they're going to start to get used to things, and I feel like our kids are working hard and they're ready to go.
Both teams will obviously look a bit different this year with those players that left, as you guys just mentioned, but Coach Silm, we'll start with you. How do you plan to hopefully stop Southview's potent rushing attack that they're always known for?
Yeah, the word stop in football is difficult a lot of times. You hear that a lot, how are you going to stop it? I think you just got to try to slow down. When a team has an offense like they have had over the last few years since Steve took over, you got to just hope to slow down, and especially when you have young guys, they need to understand like not every play is going to go perfect. They're going to make some plays. They're going to make big plays, and we got to make sure that we're able to respond to that. And hopefully at the end of the game, we have made more big plays than them, and that's again not necessarily stop, but kind of contain and slow down a little bit.
On the other side, Coach Hardy, how do you go and attack Northview's defense?
Well, obviously, year to year, you're going to change coaches, you're going to change personnel, and you're going to adapt to the new players that you have. So, who knows what we're going to see, and obviously, playing every year and being familiar with each other's teams, we're going to try to throw things at each other that maybe we're not prepared for.
Can't give too much away, especially with this being week one. Now, the Battle of Sylvania means a lot to the community, but what does it mean to each of you as coaches? Coach Hardy, you can start.
Well, this is my 7th year in Sylvania, so I've never actually been to a game that I wasn't coaching in. So I know it's a huge event for our community. We have a ton of great events in Sylvania, things downtown, things at TAMO, things at both of our schools. But this is the culmination of Sylvania. It's the football game that everyone goes to, and it's so important to our kids, their parents, Southview families, our Sylvania families, but at the end of the day, it's still a football game for us. So we got to really kind of try to block all that stuff out and really focus on what we got to do.
I've obviously been a part of a lot of rivalry games in my playing career as well, and other places I've coached, and they're always fun, especially when you're in the same town. It's one town. Obviously, like Steve said, there's a lot of great things that our community comes together and does. But this night, especially, to kind of kick off football season, kick off the school year, kick off everything. It's exciting. Our kids and their kids grow up together. A lot of them are friends. They know each other. They've known each other forever. So, bragging rights are on the table, obviously. But like Steve said, at the end of the day, it's a football game, and you got to kind of, especially with high school kids, you got to kind of temper those emotions a little bit, because otherwise they can get the best of you sometimes, and you don't necessarily perform to your best. So as much as it's a huge rivalry and we want to win that game for sure, you got to kind of, like he said, you got to have your kids under control and making sure that they're focused on the game plan, as opposed to just not letting the emotions get the best of them.
Well, guys, we can't wait to see what happens on Friday, and the best of luck to both of you guys. Thanks so much for coming in and joining me today.
Thanks
for having us.